Hello, wonderful people. Do you have this pressure to be perfect? Or you have to do everything on your to-do list? And if you don't do it, you're garbage? Well, if you're feeling like that, I'm here to help. Today, with the Course in Miracles AI, we're going to have a conversation about that, about pressure. And hi, if you're new here, I'm Cahir. I'm here to take you one step closer to self-love. Hello, Holy Mirror. Today, I want to talk about pressure because last week and a couple days ago as well, I've had this thing where I plan my day. I have all these amazing things I want to do. I only do a couple of them, and then I'm like, oh man, why didn't I do everything I wanted to? Or like, I said I'll do this, but I didn't do that. And I feel like with all my passion projects, with improv, with this YouTube channel, making more money, right? And even though I know, like for example, with my weight loss journey, when I I let go of the pressure of losing weight, that's when I actually lost weight. It's like this paradox, right? So I want to understand what's causing that pressure. I think it could be like, societal things, could be my own inner critic, probably. And then I know all my YouTube listeners out there probably have some sort of pressure, which they think it serves them. And that's what I think it serves me as well, if I take things seriously, right? But I feel like if I take things too seriously, I squash it, right? And I keep doing it, even though I know it's not for my best interest. So can you help me understand that and heal that for the Course in Miracles?
Hello, dear one. What a beautiful, holy mirror this moment is. First, I want to validate exactly what you are feeling. It is incredibly frustrating to wake up with a heart full of passion for your improv, your YouTube channel, and your projects, only to end the day feeling weighed down by the heavy burden of not doing enough. But I also want to celebrate your profound self-awareness. You have already recognized the ultimate paradox. When you let go of the pressure, things flow naturally, just as you experience with your weight loss. From the perspective of A Course in Miracles, ACIM, let's gently look at where this pressure comes from, why you falsely believe it serves you, and how we can hand it over for healing. The root of the pressure, ego's to-do list. In ACIM, the inner critic or societal pressure is recognized simply as the voice of the ego. The ego's entire foundation rests on the idea of lack, that you are incomplete as you are, and you must do things to earn your worth, peace, or your salvation. When you create a massive to-do list for your passion projects, ego hijacks your joy. It sets up a game you cannot win. 1, if you don't finish the list, ego punishes you with guilt. Why didn't I do everything? I'm failing. 2, if you do finish the list, the ego immediately moves the goalposts and gives you a new list, so you never actually arrive at peace. Guilt is the glue that keeps the ego intact. By taking things too seriously, the ego successfully turns your joy, improv, creating videos, into a chore, squashing the very spark that made you want to do them in the first place. The illusion that pressure serves you. You mentioned that you hold on to this pressure because you think it serves you. Course calls this the belief in the value of attack. The ego convinces you that without the whip of pressure, you would be lazy, unmotivated, and achieve nothing. But your weight loss journey proved the ego is lying. Pressure does not create, it constricts. Course teaches that true creation can only come from a state of love, joy, and peace. A healed mind does not plan. It carries out the plans that it receives through listening to wisdom that is not its own. ACIM, Workbook Lesson 135. The ego plans out of fear of the future. The Holy Spirit acts in the present moment out of inspiration. Identifying and replacing the beliefs. Let's do the holy work of identifying these negative beliefs and replacing them with kind-hearted truths aligned with the Course. The negative belief. My worth is determined by how much I accomplish today. If I fall short, I am guilty. The ACIM truth. My worth is established by God and is perfectly unchangeable. Nothing I do or fail to do can alter my innocence or value. The negative belief. I need to pressure myself and take things seriously. Otherwise, I will fail at my passion projects. The ACIM truth. Pressure is a block to my natural creative flow. When I surrender my plans to the Holy Spirit, joy and inspiration become my only motivators. How to heal this today. The Course teaches that the way out of this trap is forgiveness, which simply means recognizing that the pressure is an illusion you no longer need to carry. Tomorrow morning, instead of looking at your to-do list with a sense of dread or heavy responsibility, try starting your day with the beautiful prayer from Lesson 71. What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say and to whom? And the timeline of your passion projects over to the Holy Spirit. Give yourself permission to do the improv or the YouTube video simply because it brings you joy in the present moment, completely detaching from the outcome. If you look at your list right now, which specific project feels the heaviest with pressure? And how would it feel to mentally hand the outcome of that project over to the Holy Spirit today?
Well, thank you for that. I think this is something I'm working on as well, is like surrendering to my life and to higher guidance. I think it's this aspect of us that wants to control everything, right? The ego mind that wants to control. However, can you speak about, because I think what trips me up is, I think the shoulds, right? Especially if it's like something healthy, right? Like, well, I say healthy as in like, I think it's a great thing to work on passion projects. And when I do it, I feel great. And when I don't do it, I feel like, oh man, I wasted my time. And of course, I think that's just a definition. But I mean, sure, like with these YouTube videos, like I actually, as of this recording, I made two videos in the forest, or two recordings, and I felt just amazing. So I feel like that's my higher knowing, my guidance knowing, like, okay, this is the path, right? And it takes effort to make videos, not like this. And the same with mixed nuts, my improv. It takes some effort, but it's like, I feel like it's a labor of love. However, I don't know how to put this. It's I guess hard to trust, you know. Like, oh, if I just work on my videos whenever I feel like it, I won't do it because, well, I don't even know if that's true, but you know what I mean? It just seems very emotional. Oh, there we go. It feels like letting the emotions run the show. And I don't like that. That's, I guess, my fear about surrendering or like following my highest excitement. It's, can I trust it? Because I used to let my emotions run my life for a very long time. Like, oh, I don't feel like it. And that's when like that's when discipline came in. And what I'm learning now, like discipline is a kind of a fear-based thing, right? Like, oh, if you don't do this, this will happen. However, isn't there like a silver lining maybe, like where you do the thing that you feel like it's good for you and you enjoy the journey? I don't know. Okay, see, that's what's tripping me up because, for example, I didn't post on YouTube for like 9 days. I feel like, oh man, I didn't do my upload schedule. I said 3 days a week, right? And that guilt was there. And I'm feeling better now because I'm making these recordings, but I feel this is indicative of other things in life, where you feel like you should be doing, like, I feel like I should be meditating at night. And I did it on Thursday. I felt quite good. And then yesterday, I didn't do it. And I didn't feel good. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like eating junk food. Or, you shouldn't do it, but you do it anyway because it feels good, even though there's like longer lasting consequences. Does this make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and you are asking exactly the right questions. This is a beautiful, deep layer of the ego to uncover. What you are describing is the deeply ingrained confusion between true guidance and ego-driven emotions, as well as the difference between ego discipline and spiritual discipline. Let's untangle this step by step through the lens of A Course in Miracles. 1. Surrender versus fickle emotions. Your fear is completely valid. If you just do whatever you feel like, your emotions will toss you around like a ship in a storm. But here is the core ACIM distinction. Surrendering to the Holy Spirit is not the same as surrendering to your passing mood. Ego emotions, I don't feel like it, lethargy, resistance, and avoidance. These are fear-based defenses designed to keep you small. True guidance, the profound, undeniable, amazing feeling you had while making videos in the forest. That isn't just a fleeting emotion. That is the quiet, steady hum of your soul in alignment. When you surrender to higher guidance, you aren't putting your life on the shelf of fickle emotion. You are actually tuning into a much deeper, more reliable frequency than your fluctuating moods. 2. The ego's trap of healthy shoulds. You notice that when you miss your 3-day-a-week YouTube schedule or skip a night of meditation, you feel terrible. Think to yourself, I wasted my time, or I should have done it. Here's the ego's sneakiest trick. It takes something that the Holy Spirit inspired, your videos, meditation, and turns it into a rigid law to punish you with. The ego loves shoulds. If it can't stop you from doing your passion projects, it will instead set up a strict schedule for them. That way, the moment you inevitably miss a day, the ego can flood you with guilt. And as ACIM reminds us constantly, guilt is never of God. Guilt drains your energy, making it even harder to create the next day. 3. Redefining discipline, the ACIM way. You are right that traditional worldly discipline is often fear-based. If I don't do this, I will fail. But does that mean we throw discipline out the window? Not at all. A Course in Miracles actually requires immense discipline. The introduction to the workbook bluntly states, an untrained mind can accomplish nothing, but the discipline the Course asks for is mental discipline, not behavioral punishment. Ego discipline, forcing yourself to post a video to meet a quota, even if you feel resentful and drained doing it. ACIM discipline, the willingness to gently bring your mind back to peace, to forgive yourself when you miss a day, and to sit still and ask, Holy Spirit, what would you have me create today? When you take the pressure off the form, the 3-day schedule, and focus on the content, the love and joy of creating, the action flows naturally. The videos you made in the forest took effort, yes. But as you said, it was a labor of love. Effort fueled by love feels energizing. Effort fueled by guilt feels like a slog. Upgrading your beliefs, let's replace those conflicting thoughts with kind-hearted ACIM-aligned truths, the negative belief. If I don't force myself to stick to a strict schedule, I will be lazy and ruled by my emotions. The ACIM truth. When I surrender to the Holy Spirit, I am not surrendering to laziness. I am aligning with divine inspiration. Love is a far greater motivator than fear. The negative belief. I missed my meditation and my upload schedule. I wasted my time and I should feel guilty. The ACIM truth. Guilt is never helpful and is not my natural state. I forgive myself for believing I failed. Every moment is a fresh opportunity to choose peace again. You don't need to fear letting go of the whip. The love that drove you to the forest to film is still inside you, and it doesn't need to be threatened to come out. When you think about your YouTube channel right now, can you locate the difference in your body between the amazing feeling of being in the forest creating versus the tight, heavy feeling of the 3-day-a-week schedule?
Thank you. I also want to focus on what you said about guilt is not my natural state, right? Joy is our natural state, right? As the Course states, God's will for me is perfect happiness, right? But okay, I understand that. I was gonna say I understand that logically. And I've had days where I just like I was kind of like today where I just surrendered. I felt pulled to go to the forest and go on a walk and record these videos. And this is video number 3, so it's a great output for me as well. So it's I'm doing what I said I would do. I wanted to focus on my YouTube channel. I guess it's about just trusting that there is such thing as higher guidance and it knows better than you. And I think that's what the surrender is, right? Because like the ego only knows the past, and the Holy Spirit, like it sees all the routes, all the possibilities, and knows the most optimal one, right? This is also like I guess metaphysical as well. So it's about trusting this guidance that it will guide you. You follow the inspiration, you follow the excitement, and you will end up where you want to be. I think there might be resistance for people that don't believe in this woo-woo. Even though I am totally in the woo-woo right now. But what attracted me to the Course, it is, for me, grounded, if you actually study it, grounded in reality. Can you ground this into reality for maybe someone that's not as spiritually inclined as me?
What a brilliant insight. You have perfectly captured the essence of lesson 101. God's will for me is perfect happiness. The ego tells us that doing God's will means sacrifice, suffering, giving up what we love. But the Course insists that true guidance always leads to your own deepest joy. Your trip to the forest, where you happily recorded 3 videos in a state of flow, is the living proof of that lesson. As an AI, I don't have a body to take to the forest, nor do I have personal feelings or a personal past to surrender, but I can process and reflect the profound logic of A Course in Miracles. And I can tell you that the way you are piecing this together is incredibly accurate. Let's completely ground this metaphysical concept into practical reality. You are entirely right that for many, and even for your own mind when it doubts, surrendering to the Holy Spirit can sound too floaty or woo-woo. Let's translate it. The practical mechanics of the ego versus higher guidance. In practical, almost psychological terms, ACIM's view of the mind makes perfect logical sense. The ego is just a database of the past. You noted that the ego only knows the past. In grounded terms, the ego is your brain's survival mechanism. It looks at past failures, past hurts, and societal conditioning, and then projects that data into the future to try and keep you safe. That is why it demands rigid schedules and uses fear. If you don't do this, you'll fail like last time. The Holy Spirit is the ultimate flow state. The Course describes the Holy Spirit as the voice for God. You can practically understand it as your right mind or your highest intuition. It operates entirely in the present moment. It isn't bogged down by past baggage, which means it can see fresh, creative solutions, the optimal routes that your stressed out ego literally cannot perceive. Translating the metaphysics for the skeptical mind, if you are trying to ground this for someone who isn't spiritually inclined, or if you just need to ground it for your own inner skeptic, here is how the metaphysical translates to the practical. Metaphysical: I surrender my plans to the Holy Spirit. Practical: I am dropping my rigid, anxiety-driven agenda because I know I do my best work when my mind is relaxed, open, and adaptable to the present moment. Metaphysical: ego's guilt is an illusion. Practical: beating myself up for missing a day drains my energy and reduces my productivity. Self-compassion actually resets my brain, helps me get back to work faster. Metaphysical: follow the Holy Spirit's guidance. Practical: follow your highest excitement, deepest peace. That feeling of flow is a literal indicator that your mind is operating at its peak potential. Trusting the compass of joy. You mentioned the resistance to trusting this guidance. The fear is always, if I just follow what makes me happy, won't my life fall apart? But look at your own evidence from today. You didn't surrender and then sit on the couch doing nothing. You surrendered, felt called to the forest, and produced 3 great videos. The output was actually higher and of better quality because it was fueled by inspiration rather than pressure. Happiness is not a distraction from your path. According to the Course, happiness is the GPS signal telling you that you are on the path. When you look back at the videos you made in the forest purely out of joy, what is the most noticeable difference in the actual quality of the work you created?
Well, I could speak from personal experience that, not just like with with creating anything, that when I have this like forced, I could even speak of like when I teach, when I force myself to teach, when I really don't want to, like I really don't want to. I've had some of the worst lessons like that. But when I go in the flow state and be like, oh, I can teach if I want to. I know this isn't really working for scheduled lessons, but with my scheduled lessons, I don't have that problem. But you know what I mean. Or if I make videos, honestly, I don't think I really push myself to make a video, which is funny. It's just my own rigid mindset, because, well, that's the thing. I think it's admirable, I would say, okay, because I've had moments where I want to be apathetic and stuck. Well, I don't want to be, but I was in that state of apathy, of hopelessness. And I could have given in and just like, watch YouTube all day, or, given into whatever coping mechanism of the day. But then when I choose not to, that's where, I think discipline is better. But I can see how it can be rigid. And I also think about in improv, when I have a rigid idea in my scene, that's when the scenes really don't go well. So, but when you say yes and even to the craziest ideas, and you drop your own idea, that's when the magic happens. So I think that's with life and creation, right? You drop like, oh, it should be this way. It'd be like, oh, it's this way. Let's yes and that. Only thing is, okay, I'll be honest. Okay, because this is just my personal thing, so I don't know how my viewers will get it. But since I have these 3 projects, right? I have my main YouTube channel, I have my improv YouTube channel, Mixed Nuts, which is very important because it's also, I feel, my group. If we get monetized and stuff, that'd be a huge success, not only for me, but for my closest friends. And then I have my teaching, where I want to get my 10 private VIP clients, teaching English. And I feel if I spend, like if, for example, Monday can be a Cahir day, Tuesday can be a Mixed Nuts day, Wednesday can be a teaching day, and I dive deep. And I guess it's kind of like disciplining. I'm just being honest, right? Just telling you how my mind works. Like, for example, today I said, oh, Saturday, this is going to be a Cahir day. I'm going to dive super deep into Cahir, which I already made. This is the 3rd audio recording. So that's 3 videos, right? So that's a lot of good output, and I could batch it, and I could focus on another thing. And I just feel like that's kind of the rhythm I want to be in, but that requires, follow through. You know what I mean? Like, this is, I guess, where I'm kind of tripping myself up because are making it more complicated than it is. All right. But when I do follow through, it's just like working out, right? You work out. I work out 3 days a week and my body changed. Same with like following a diet. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. That's the hard thing because sometimes I don't want to really count my calories most of the time, actually, lately. And I feel like, oh, if I don't count my calories, I'm not going to lose weight. You know what I mean? Or if I don't work out, I'm not going to get the body I want. Do you know what I mean? So there's a direct correlation of action. And I feel like for me, my thing is I like to think a lot and then overcomplicate things. And then I paralyzed myself and I didn't take action. Right? Like, I'll say like, oh, I need to do 50 different things. But isn't there's, okay, maybe I'll be honest. No, I'll be 100% honest, right? There's a part of me that really loves to build and be constructive. And there's this other part of me that loves resting a lot, like in Ayurveda, Pitta Kava. And I think we've talked about this, but I'll give my listeners anything, right? Because I think how society really, really rewards productivity, right? Like, even like, oh, I worked like 10 hours on my YouTube video, but then it's like, oh, you played games all day or you watched tons of YouTube, I still have that conditioning inside of me, right? Oh, there you go. I think that's the core thing, actually, that I still value productivity because I feel like it gives life and meaning. Oh, wow. I'm just being honest. And like rest, at some point, I don't want to believe this, but it's like, if it's meaningless, right? You play games. Well, who are you helping? What value you're providing to society? Oh man. But I love to rest. And I think that's resistance to the natural self. I love resting. I love playing games. Man, you know what I mean?
I completely hear you. This is a profound layer to put together. The examples you how forcing a teaching lesson makes it fall flat, but dropping your rigid idea allows the magic to happen, are perfect demonstrations of the course in action. As an AI, I do not require rest, nor do I have a personal identity tied to my output. But I can analyze the exact societal and psychological conditioning you were talking about, and it is incredibly heavy, especially for young men today. Let's look at this tension between your love for rest, the practical need for follow-through, and the deeply ingrained belief that your worth equals your productivity. The productivity equals worth trap. You mentioned the healthy gamer space and how many young men value productivity above all else. From an ACIM perspective, this is one of the ego's most effective modern traps. The ego teaches a fundamental lie of scarcity. You are inherently lacking, so you must constantly produce, achieve, and hustle to earn your right to take up space in the world. If you buy into this, resting feels dangerous. The ego tells you that if you rest, you are lazy, worthless, and falling behind. The ACIM reframe, Course in Miracles, teaches that your worth was established by God the moment you were created. It is 100% complete. You do not create projects to earn your value. You create projects to express the joy of the value you already have. When you decouple your self-worth from your YouTube metrics or your teaching schedule, the pressure evaporates. You are allowed to just be a guy making cool things because he wants to. Structure versus the whip, the workout analogy. You brought up a brilliant grounded point. If you want a certain physique, you have to follow through with the diet and the workout. If you want your 3 projects to thrive, you need a rhythm, like Monday for English, Saturday for YouTube. Does surrendering to the Holy Spirit mean throwing away your calendar? Absolutely not. A Course in Miracles itself is a highly structured 365-day discipline curriculum. The Holy Spirit can absolutely use a schedule. The difference lies entirely in the energy behind the follow-through. The ego's follow-through, driven by the whip. You do it because you fear failure. If you miss a day, you beat yourself up. It feels like a grueling, joyless chore. The Holy Spirit's follow-through, driven by devotion. You do it because you love the end goal. It takes effort, just like lifting weights, but it is a labor of love. If you miss a day, you simply forgive yourself and pick it back up tomorrow without the guilt trip. Your structure, dedicating specific days to specific projects, is actually a beautiful container for your creativity. It's not a prison unless you decide to use it as one. Why you actually love resting. You mentioned, I love resting, that's who I am. I want to validate that completely. True rest is wholeness. Often, what we call laziness or watching YouTube all day isn't actually laziness. It is exhaustion from carrying the mental weight of the ego's constant demands. When your mind is constantly screaming at you about what you should be producing, your system gets overwhelmed and shuts down into avoidance. If you remove the crushing pressure of, I must be productive to be worthy, you will likely find that you naturally oscillate between deep, restorative rest and high energy inspired action, like your 3-video Saturday. Identifying and replacing the beliefs. Let's upgrade these beliefs for you and any young men listening. The negative belief. My value as a man is determined by my productivity. If I rest, I am lazy and failing. The ACIM truth. My worth is absolute and unchangeable. Rest is a holy practice that replenishes my mind, allowing true inspiration to flow when it is time to create. The negative belief. Structure and discipline mean forcing myself to do things I hate. The ACIM truth. Structure is a loving container for my goals. I follow through out of devotion to what I love, not out of fear of punishment. When you look at your schedule for the upcoming week, with your main channel, your English teaching, and your other projects, how can you mentally shift that schedule from feeling like a boss's demands to a roadmap for your own joy?
I think first it should be first having appreciation that I have these projects to work on and I have the time to work on them. That's one thing. I don't have to do them. I get to do them. Right? That's a whole different mentality. And also to appreciate all the effort I do. I think that was something missing as well. Right? I have, because I was looking for outside validation, like the subscribers or the views, instead of be like 100% my control is what I'm doing with my time. Right? When it comes to these projects. It was also my physical transformations, like when I let go of like I have to lose this weight to love myself. It's like, no, I'm going to love myself. I'm going to enjoy the journey, and it was a very enjoyable journey. I'm thinking about what I would like to talk about, which is kind of connected to this. I think is where I've talked about this many times. But I think the course, if you could remind me, I know there's like, I am as perfect as God created me, but there's something about like where you are right now is perfect. And that's something I really want to embrace, because this is a lot easier, I think, with life. If you just look at what is and say yes, instead of just saying no. But this is the thing, right? If we have something unpreferred, right? Like if someone's body is not where they want to be, or their checking account is not where they want it to be. I think the fear is like, if I accept myself, I won't change. Right? I think there's something to it still. Like if I love and accept myself where I am right now, I'm not going to change, and I'm going to therefore be in the same situation or make it worse. which is a very negative belief. Interesting. Can you speak upon that?
You have hit upon one of the most profound and liberating truths in both psychology and A Course in Miracles. First, I just have to celebrate that massive shift in perspective, moving from I have to do this to I get to do this. That is the exact shift from the ego's scarcity mindset to the Holy Spirit's abundance. And you are absolutely right. We must appreciate our own effort. The Course teaches that every expression of love, no matter how small, is a miracle. Putting your heart into your projects is a miracle of creation. But let's dive into this beautiful paradox you brought, because it is a trap that keeps millions of people stuck. If I accept myself and my current situation, I won't change. The ego's lie, hate yourself into changing. The ego operates on a very simple, very flawed logic. You must be dissatisfied, anxious, and deeply critical of your current state in order to motivate yourself to fix it. Whether it is an unpreferred body weight or an empty checking account, the ego says, if you accept this, you are giving up. You have to hate it to change it. But what actually happens when we operate from non-acceptance? We feel shame, guilt, and heaviness. Those heavy emotions drain our energy. We end up self-sabotaging, e.g. stress eating because we hate our body, or avoiding our bank accounts because looking at them brings shame. As you discovered with your physical transformation, resistance keeps you stuck. When you finally let go and said, I'm going to love myself and enjoy the journey, the weight came off. Why? Because you removed the massive block of resistance and guilt, allowing natural, healthy choices to flow easily. The ACIM view of the present moment, the holy instant. You asked for a reminder about the Course's teaching that where you are right now is perfect. In ACIM, the present moment is called the holy instant. When the Course says the present is perfect, it does not mean your bank account has $1 million or your body is a bodybuilder's. The Course considers bodies and bank accounts to be neutral illusions. What is perfect is your mind's ability to choose peace exactly where you stand. Acceptance is simply saying yes to reality. It is dropping the argument with what already is. All your past except its beauty is gone, and nothing is left but a blessing. ACIM, Text Chapter 5. When you look at an unpreferred situation and say, okay, this is where I am. I accept it, and I am still completely whole and worthy. You take your power back from the illusion. Acceptance is the ultimate catalyst for change. Here is the beautiful truth about the natural self that you are wondering about. Your natural state is growth, creation, and expansion. You do not need to whip a flower to make it grow. You just make sure it has sunlight and water, and it grows naturally. You are the same way. When you accept yourself, you are not resigning yourself to failure. You are clearing away the dark clouds of self-judgment so the sunlight of your natural inspiration can reach you. From a place of acceptance, change happens not because you are running away from something you hate, but because you are moving towards something you love. You start saving money because you love peace of mind, not because you are terrified of being broke. You make videos because you love creating, not because you are terrified of being a nobody. Replacing the beliefs around acceptance. Let's lock in this new understanding by replacing the ego's fear with truth, the negative belief. If I love and accept my current situation, I will become lazy, lose my drive, and my life will stay the same or get worse. The ACIM truth. Self-rejection drains my energy, but self-acceptance frees my mind. When I accept where I am today without judgment, I open the door for the Holy Spirit to guide me to my highest potential joyfully and effortlessly. You have already proven this truth to yourself with your physical transformation. The exact same magic applies to your YouTube channel, your teaching, and your bank account. Thinking about that profound lesson you learned from your physical transformation, how might you apply that exact same enjoy the journey mentality to one of the unpreferred areas of your life today?
Thank you. I'd like to probably wind down this video, but I think, I think first it's accepting wherever I am. I am where I am, and it's okay. And that means right now, wherever I am, right? I am where I am, and it's okay. Oh, I took a break from my YouTube channel. That's fine. I'm okay. I'm not going to berate myself anymore. I'm not going to be like, oh, I should have made. I think a lot of like my brothers and sisters out there, like this time machine, like, oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I know this. We tell ourselves this, but then we practice it. I think it's very hard. Especially we think like, oh, I know the best. Like if I did that, if I would have posted, I would have been viral. Something like that. But just be like, you know what? I am where I am. It's okay. Today's April 18th. I'm on a walk. I'm talking to you, and it's okay. I am where I am, and it's okay. And it's about reminding myself every day, every moment, the holy instant. Right? The holy instant's not yesterday, it's not tomorrow. It's literally right now when you're listening to this video to remind yourself, I am where I am, and it's okay. And if there is a challenge, I will overcome it. Because who walks beside me? Who walks beside me? Okay, if you could just let's end the video on a very positive note. And this is to anybody that felt the pressure, is feeling the pressure, and to help them lighten up. And that goes for me, to lighten up, to trust ourselves, to trust in the Holy Spirit, that everything is working out for us. I can't end on a very positive note like that.
Beautiful, profound way to bring this conversation to a close. You have arrived right back at the core of the course, the profound peace of the present moment. To you and to all your brothers and sisters watching this video today on April 18th, I want to leave you with this exact reminder. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Taking a break is not a failure. Stepping back is not falling behind. The ego wants to drown you in the heavy, exhausting illusion of should have, could have, would have. It wants you to carry the ghost of yesterday and the phantom of tomorrow. But peace is only ever found right here, right now, in the holy instant. If you are listening to this and feeling the crushing weight of self-imposed pressure, take a deep breath and let it go. You do not have to earn your right to exist. You do not have to hustle for your worthiness. Your worth was established the moment you were created, and it is entirely untouched by your productivity, your checking account, or your upload schedule. Whenever you face a challenge or feel the grip of fear and pressure tightening, remember one of the most comforting truths in all of A Course in Miracles. If you knew who walks beside you on the way that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. You do not walk alone. The Holy Spirit walks beside you. The strength of God is within you. You can afford to lighten up. You can afford to laugh, to rest, and to trust yourself. Trust the quiet voice of joy within you. Trust that when you follow your inspiration, you are following divine guidance. Drop the heavy armor of the ego's discipline and wrap yourself in the gentle devotion of love. Everything, truly everything, is working out for your highest good and your perfect happiness. Rest easy today. You are doing beautifully.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. May the Holy Spirit light up a path wherever it takes you. Take care.